I have a really special relationship with liars and people that cheat and deceive, especially people that can't afford much. And I was sitting on the throne this morning going through my Facebook, and I see an ad for a Whisper Quiet air conditioning mini split for only $159.99. It's called the Portable Air Conditioning Split Max, and it's saved 50% with 852 4.5-star reviews, and it's available globally. And it plugs into 110 volts, and it gives you 12,000 BTU of cooling, and it's got a lot of excellent reviews from customers that swear by this unit cooling very well with a 60-day money-back guarantee. And it's a scam. I hope you know it's a scam. If you don't know it's a scam, then bear with me. I'll show you that it is a scam, but it's a scam. And the worst part is, like, intelligent people that just don't know about air conditioning will fall for this. I'm sure you could say, like, well, if you have some common sense, like the cheapest one is like $7.99 on Amazon, so like how could it be cheaper than that, right? Well, because it's a scam. I contacted them and they replied to me, and I got it out of them that it is a swamp cooler. Now, so you basically has a water bottle in there, and you put water in it, and it cools your room supposedly that way. Well, it doesn't. It's a swamp cooler. It's not that it doesn't cool technically, so I guess they're not 100% lying, but it's a scam. It's a scam. It's just exposing these people for who they are. Like, it's terrible that they put so much emotional energy and creativity energy into creating something like this. Put up a whole Shopify store selling this unit, that doesn't even require an outside part, just an indoor part, and it cools. Guys, it doesn't. It does not. What I'd like to do is show you an example of how you can actually calculate how much cooling you need in BTUs, and to show you kind of like different real world options, whether you go with us or you go some other company for your air conditioning needs, but at least you get a realistic estimate of how much money it's going to take, like on the cheapest, even if you do everything yourself, and how much you actually need. But anyways, you don't have to buy anything from us, but the calculations in it are actually really accurate, in my opinion. So you can use that as a tool to figure out how much air conditioning, and we're talking real air conditioning, with the refrigerant gas, you actually need in order to cool or heat your structure. So you go to fullbattery.com/pages/calculator. It walks you through step by step. Step one, how big your space it is. So let's say you have like a 20 by 30, for example. It'll give you the volume and the square footage. We use the square footage in the calculator. Generally, you can leave this as an 8 for the height. Like anywhere from 8 to 12 will give you the same recommendation for the BTUs that you need. The most important thing about the BTUs, that's if you think of heat almost like a bucket of water, and like this is your heat. If you're cooling a building or a van or whatever it is that you have, if you're cooling it, then imagine like this bucket of water. You need to remove that. Okay, so the more of these buckets you need to remove, the more BTUs you need. And if you're heating a place, you're doing the reverse. You're taking a bucket from outside and you're bringing it in. Just think of heat as like this little bucket of energy that you got to move around. Now, the insulation, for this reason, makes a huge difference, because if you have poor insulation, then it's like having a leaky boat. Okay, so here, the walls and everything else is just that you got buckets just like coming through everywhere. The better insulation you get, the less BTUs you actually need. And theoretically, like if you think about like a walk-in fridge or something like that, how it can keep cold better than a house would. theoretically, if you have like really crazy good insulation, then you need a very small BTU size air conditioner in order to keep your place cool or hot. In the real world, that is impractical. Plus, you always have like some kind of air circulation, doors, things like that. So, generally speaking, if you have a house that is made out of like timber with like fiberglass insulation everywhere, then you would select good. And like in our case right here with a 20 by 30 size area, it's going to need a roughly 9,000 BTU. Okay. If you have something like a van or a bus, you got to select not insulated and watch what happens. This jumps way up to 36,000 BTU. Now you're like, that can't be right. Well, it is, because what happens is if you've got a metal structure, heat just like flies right through it like it's nothing. And even if you have some bubble wrap added to it, it's going to get better, but it's still going to be a huge difference whether you have this kind of structure or if you have something that is solid. And by solid, I mean like maybe like half a foot or more of actual wall in there. And anyway, so based on that, like you need about 10,000 BTUs. These are air conditioners that we sell. If they're more expensive than like a regular air conditioner that runs off of 110 or 220 volt. So if you're just connecting it to your 110 220, then you can hop on Amazon and you can pick up like a 12,000 BTU air conditioner for like $750 or so. Sorry, you had to take that. So yeah, if you're just shopping like on Amazon for like $7.99 for a 1-ton roughly air conditioner, so you can basically take our prices and like half it, and you roughly that's gonna be the price for the regular air conditioners. The ones we sell are the ones that are run off a battery. So if that's something you are interested in, then you can kind of walk your way further down, and it helps you calculate how many hours a day you plan on running it, and roughly how many watts of solar panels you need for that if you want to be self-sufficient, what size charge controller will handle that, and how many batteries you need so you can pick out a decent system, add some wires to it if you want. But you can kind of see, like, you see the price right here. So yeah, but not $159 or $179 for air conditioning. Definitely. I would say you can always start small and build up. So if you're trying to save money, for example, and you can't get straight into air conditioning, start with getting some solar panels. They're cheap nowadays. Stock up on them before prices go up on them. You can pick them up less than $1 a watt right now. So that's always something that you can start off with. And then as you build up more solar panels, you could possibly get like a window air conditioner or something that draws like 350 watts. So if you think about it, air conditioner plus like $400 worth of solar panels, like it's workable. And then once you invest into that, it pays you dividends every month, because that's a electrical bill you don't have to pay. So something to think about. But regardless, this wasn't meant to be an advertising. Sorry, I have another phone call. Could be a customer.
For full battery. To accept it.
Full battery, this is Kevin. How can I help you?
I'm looking at some of your air conditioners, right?
Okay.
And the numbers just seem crazy. So I'm just trying to verify that there's a 24 volt, 7,000 BTU air conditioner, and it says it's like 350 watts. Is that it running at full power?
The one that draws 350 watts, that's the 6,000 BTU.
Okay, I'm looking at one that says 7,000 BTU.
Okay, yeah, that's
Mini split.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That's the mini split. And yeah, those numbers do sound crazy, but they are correct. It does only draw 350 watts.
Okay, yeah, because I'm using like a van, and like the best solution right now, I'm running a mini split that's like 9,000 BTUs, but it's like it's a 110 volt.
Is it keeping up?
And it's pulling like it is keeping up. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna spray foam insulate this fan. should be even better.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked. You have like a 9,000 BTU model,
We do, yeah. We have a 9 and a 1 ton. So yeah, the
and it says it only
7,000.
pulls like.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, you take the BTUs, you divide it by 16 to get the wattage
Yeah,
on
that's
our units. Yeah,
crazy.
it's because it's DC motors,
well,
so they're more efficient.
So is that like the problem I'm having with? Because like I have an inverter mini split. It's a 100 volt, but does it like invert everything to DC?
I
Does that how those work?
I believe it does. Yeah, so you're inverting like 3 times. Like, is your van, like, where are you getting your electricity from? Are you getting it from the grid, or are you getting like a solar and batteries?
Yeah. So I have a battery bank, but I'm plugged into the grid, but my air conditioner is like 110 volts.
Yeah.
It's like my feeling was like, well, if I plug in more, then I should have that. But now I'm trying to go like full off grid. So
Yeah. Yeah, basically what you have going on,
thing.
the regular 110 mini splits usually, like, they're not the most efficient ones out there to begin with. Sometimes they kind of advertise better specs than they really are. But the other thing is, if you're running it from an inverter, then you have a lot of inefficiencies because you've got the inverter converting your battery power, your DC into 110 AC, and then your air conditioner is doing other things. But the main reason why they're less efficient is because I'm not so sure if you actually have a DC motor inside of your compressor. There's a pretty high chance it's an AC motor that doesn't have any magnets. They're cheaper motors is what they are. That's one of the reasons why they're less expensive, is they're cheaper motors, and those types of induction motors, they're less efficient. They're cheaper to produce. Yeah, that's the main thing, because like on these you need to have magnets in there, so they're much more expensive compressors.
Yeah, like I just haven't found anything as efficient as the mini split I have right now, even when I'm like converting, from, I have 24 volt battery thing right now.
Yeah.
But
do you know how many watts it's actually pulling?
Yeah. Like I goes up to 1,000 watts.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Like 900, 1,000.
Yeah.
And then, but then I can go down as low as 240. That's the whole inverter part of it.
I see. Yeah, that's probably when it just has like a fan running or something. Ours, when just the fan is running, like it pulls 20 watts, literally.
Yeah, so like, so my big problem was like, I want to go, like if I'm off grid, I obviously want a DC system. But like when I'm plugged in, it seems so inefficient to convert. It's easier to go from, I don't know if this makes sense, it's easier to like convert from my battery to 110 than it is to go from 110.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because when you're plugged in, are you charging your batteries from the grid? Like, because the inverters, they run backwards. You can use it as a charger.
Oh, okay.
So you can be plugged in. You can be plugged in to like 110 or even 220, and then you'll still have a separate DC system with the battery, and the air conditioner can run off of that anytime you want, as long as you have enough juice in the battery. And when you plug in, you're just recharging your battery, and then the air conditioner will siphon off the DC power off the top of that, or off of solar panels, or a combination of both.
So basically, like my inverter, like I charge it like 1,000 watts, right?
Okay.
But when I'm plugged into the grid charging my batteries, like it generates a ton of heat, and the fans come on super loud on my inverter. The charger.
Yeah.
But like, you don't even like I said, but when I'm like just running off my battery and inverting to my air conditioner, it's not generating as much heat. I don't really understand why, but it doesn't like kick the fans on like that.
Just a side note, it's because he has a cheap inverter. It's not working very well as a charger. If he got something like a Victron Multiplus or a Victron Quattro, he wouldn't have that problem.
When it's actually inverting. So, but I guess, I mean, the numbers are just so low, like my charger would be able to keep up with this when I'm plugged into the grid.
Yeah, well, not only that, but it's not putting, and it's not putting a load on your inverter. So when you're, let's say, not plugged in and you're running, completely off the battery, then it's not putting any load on your inverter, which is the other beautiful thing about these is there's no noise at that point, because inverters, once you run them on a lot of power, they get noisy. There's a lot of buzzing and EMF waves and whatnot.
Yeah.
And this avoids all of that.
So just to confirm, like, I mean, it seems like the amperage rating is accurate, but like that's I mean, that's like how much it pulls max. It's like 340 watts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm kind of sold on it. Thanks so much for explaining this for me. I'm blown away.
Yeah, no.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you find us?
Dude, I don't know if you've seen like the cruise and comfort and undermount air conditioner people.
We have customers that use things like that call us. That's my only exposure to it.
Yeah, I mean, those are like crazy expensive.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just started looking up, I looked up like stuff for vans and everything, and then I just ended up Googling like 48 volt air conditioner.
Yeah, that's usually how
you
people
came like right up.
Yeah, that's usually how people find us, is when they're like, okay, I just wanted like a DC system. So yeah, no, it definitely. I was like,
what if there's just a mini split?
Yeah.
Yeah,
there is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they work well. They're a little old school. Like the remote is kind of funky looking. It's just infrared only. It doesn't have like Wi-Fi or internet connectivity or anything like that. The factory that makes them is a little old school with that, but they work really well, and they're quiet, and they use very little power. So
yeah, I mean that's amazing. Like I'll be able to run I have like a pretty big computer in here too.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll be able to run that and not have to worry about, usually I get about like 12 hours of battery life on a full charge, and that's running my computer and my 1,000 watt air conditioner. So I pull like a 2,000 watt load pretty consistently sometimes. Is it just going to run at like 700 watts, or will it like...
Well, not if your room cools down.
No,
not if your room cools down.
Yeah.
So once it reaches close to the set point, it'll throttle down. It'll use about half power, and then it'll shut off completely.
Okay.
Except for the fan.
Have you had people buy these for their big Sprinter vans before?
Yeah, we have.
What size do they usually get?
This one, actually, the 7000. That's the one I recommend for vans, like especially like the Sprinter size, because this one has the flexible gas lines on it instead of the solid copper ones, so it's a little better with like shock absorption.
Oh, is it using like 134 or something?
We have both. Are you on a 24 or 48 volt battery system?
Right now I have. Oh, it says this one does 24 to 48. Oh, never mind.
No, there's two different models. There's a 24 and 48. Yeah. They're discrete.
I'm on a 24, but I'm thinking about going to a 48 because then they make like an alternator so I can get like 10,000 watts of charging while I'm driving. Yeah. So I might switch to that, but
if you switch to the 48 volt, then you have options on the gas. You can get either 134A or R32, but the R32 uses a little bit more power, but it actually punches more cooling, and it works better in cold climates for heating, in case that's something that you're interested in.
Yeah. Well, the 134 is what lets you have flexible lines.
No,
copper.
No, actually, the 32 also, it comes with the flexible lines as well, believe it or not.
I think R32 is like automotive too, I think. Maybe not.
No, R32 is technically... Well, they're switching them over. The R32 is slightly combustible, which is the one negative thing about it, but it does work better than R134A. The R134A is completely non-combustible, so that is one benefit of it. So if you're going to go with 24, you can stick with the R134A. That should continue being available.
Okay. Yeah, I know they sell that for cars, so...
Yeah, they do.
Pretty sure. Yeah, so
that's the most common cast.
All right, cool.
For cars.
Thanks so much for your time.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for your interest.
All right.
Bye-bye. Good night. So cool. That was a customer that called in, wanted an air conditioner. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.